Alright all, it's time for another story time. I was reminiscing on my past, as one does, and rethinking all of my life choices. And I remembered this story from 5th grade. So this isn't meant to be a sob story, but I think some context is needed. I used to be bullied pretty severely in middle and elementary school. I know, big surprise. And these kids would tell me to, like, myself every day. And it was pretty severe. But anyways, like I said, it's not a sob story. I'm not trying to seek pity, because this is how I got revenge on my bully. Our 5th grade classroom, it was kind of isolated from the rest of the school. We were up on like this little, we called it the penthouse, because it was basically like the 5th grade classroom had its entire own floor, and there was the computer lab across the hallway. So it was literally just the classroom, computer lab, and stairs going downstairs to where the rest of the peasants were, because the school only went up to 5th and 6th grade. And so we had our own little home, and we would often go into the computer because we would take like computer literacy classes. I don't know if anybody else ever did that, where you had to like learn how to type, and when you learned how to type, you had to have your fingers on like each of the keys, but I still just poke whenever I type on a keyboard, so I clearly didn't learn anything, and I'm not very literate, so that doesn't help either. But anyway, so we had to do this class, and we all had our own assigned computers. And every now and then we would do like presentation Google slide things. So we were doing a lot of work in there on computers and our assigned computers. Well, one day I was sick at school, so I had to make up a test. And for some reason my teacher didn't monitor me while I was doing the test, which meant that I had free reign of the computer lab. So she literally just sent me in the computer lab to make up this test. So I'm sitting at one of the big tables, and I'm like, you know, I really want to get revenge on Apollo, who's the kid who bullied me, because I don't care if I name drop him. He actually got arrested. I won't show his mugshot because I'll dox him and myself if I do. But yeah, that tells you the kind of guy he is. He's in jail. But anyways, what I was doing was there was a big central table in the computer lab, and that's where I was sitting making up my test for like how to spell butthole or something. I don't remember what I was doing. And I realized that I can write on the table, and I had a marker with me. So I drew a willy on the table, and in case people didn't know what a willy was, I even labeled it and wrote penis and pointed an arrow to it. So that was a badass move. And I was like, I'm worried they might not be able to piece together that Apollo did it. So as a true rebel, I went on his assigned computer, and because I was in 5th grade, I didn't know what porn was, but I knew what boobs were. So I went on his computer, there's no filter on it, and I searched boobs. And I get a face full of boobies. That's the most amount of boobs I've ever seen in my life. So I did that, and then I'm like, how can I take this up a notch? So then I decided to go on his computer again and search naked girls. I don't know if anybody ever even checked his history, because I never heard of him getting in trouble for it, but I thought that was really funny. And I actually confessed this to my cousin a little bit ago, because my cousin was in the class with me. She really enjoyed that story. She didn't know that happened, so here's those text messages.
Just had a really cursed elementary school memory that I don't think I've ever told anyone. Back in 5th grade, when our classroom was directly across from the computer lab, Mrs. P sent me in there to make up a test or something. And while I was in there, I drew a penis on the big table trying to frame Apollo, and I went on his designated computer and searched up boobs and naked girls, laughing out loud. Bruh, no fucking way! Laughing out loud. Loud, loud. I knew you'd appreciate that story. I have no idea if you ever got in trouble for it or anything. I never heard anything about getting in trouble for that. Damn, I hope he did. I had to look at so many pictures of breasts because of that. I'm so glad that you're worried about the amount of tits you had to look at. Haha!
Do you have anything you want to say to women?
I'm sorry, women.
Anyways, that's about it for this story. Video's over. Go away.